Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another episode of Nerd Chronicles. Coming to you live, doing another episode of the Bridge Talk, live from the Tappan Zee Bridge, right above the Hudson River. Okay? This is your host, the Social Awkward Nerd, Christian Paul, up in the motherfucking building, ladies and gentlemen. And ladies and gentlemen, in the previous episode, around a while ago, when I was discussing about the news in regards to Sha'carri Richardson, okay, due to her toxicity and her being very aggressive and abusive towards her boyfriend Christian Coleman, in which you now know that she has apologized on Instagram and has wrote a letter and actually been professional. I don't know if that's gonna be enough, depending on what Christian decides. But hey, let's start. I digress. I've discussed in a section of that video about the 3 tiers or 3 types of women in society. And 9 of them involves looks, shape, appearance, whether they moms or not, irrespective of tax bracket, how much they earn, irrespective of career, or even a housewife. It's all based on mentality, okay? And I'm gonna do the same thing here for the men, okay? In order for, basically for women mainly picking a mate, or if other gay dudes looking to pick a mate and all that, they gotta learn how to practice sniffing this stuff out. And sometimes they get wrong a lot of times, because a lot of times, like with, dealing with women in the 3 tiers, it's not really shown until you're months to years in most cases, okay? Same with the tiers when it comes to the men, including me, okay? And we're gonna go over the 3 types, as we did with the women. The stable man, the recovering man, the transitioning man, that once did some toxic mistakes, once went toxic and now is basically waking up, had his wake-up call. Now he's in the process of recovering, okay? Reforming, maturing, being more humble, just to make sure you don't make the same mistakes again. He makes as little mistakes as possible moving forward, okay? And the third man is obviously the toxic 3rd tier, toxic and chaotic man, okay? That man who refuses to change, that man who loves toxicity, that anywhere he goes, he loves chasing Ratchet City down to the brink, and he could even be dusty for all we know. All right, we are going to dig into each and every tier, and in closing of the video, I want to let y'all know, depending on what you guys mainly pick and where y'all choose to stay, it's going to be a reflection of you at the end of the day. Hey y'all, ladies and gentlemen, future me here at the time of actually editing and recording this video up by Bridge Talk. There were some pointers that I mainly forgot to actually discuss with you actually on during the walk on the bridge that I do want to discuss with you guys definitely at that moment, that involves those 3 tiers or 3 types, whatever you want to call it. So bear with me as we go along with this video on what the past me or the current me in the video is mainly saying. So the first type that we're going to discuss is the stable man. Basically every woman wants to be around this type of stable man, or hopes to be stable, right? Irrespective of career, irrespective of jack moves, they want to try and make sure he's stable. He wants to make sure that he's basically loyal, to the woman in a relationship, or even a gay man relationship. He wants to make sure he's loyal and stable with his kids. He wants to make sure he has everything thoroughly planned out in regards with his family, in regards with his finances. And also note, ladies and gentlemen, okay, income that you earn in your job does not equal net worth, does not equal even wealth, okay? Income is a part of wealth, all right? But it is not wealth itself, okay? It's how you manage your money, it's how you handle your finances, it's how you actually try to double and triple up your money when it comes to investments, real estate, that's what net worth really is about. You know what I'm saying? And even that part is a little bit hard because you got to learn some of the laws. You got to try and learn some of the guidance with the help of your realtor. Just make sure you be able to find an apartment that could be like a money tree machine. You feel me? So I digress. The disabled man always keeps his emotions regulated, does everything in his power in the case that he gets about to get angry, he nips that shit in the bud immediately. Or if he's dipping in a relationship, he tries to do his best to try and work things out first. If none is worked out, if the woman becomes more uncooperative and she doesn't actually fully respect the man, he's gonna plan to dip her out and cut her out, cut the fuck out of his life, and he gonna move on quick. Okay, he not gonna give two fucks whatsoever. Okay, he leads by example. Okay, he handles his business and jobs, he handles his business and work, he handles his business in the house, does all the normal cleaning stuff, make sure everything is actually thoroughly done, handles all his responsibilities. He don't dust it up, he don't sit around the corner, do no bullshit. You know what I'm saying? This is the stable man. Okay, he has a very strong heart for those people around him. Okay, for the people he truly cared about, even his family members, even his parents, even his siblings, and even his other relatives to a point. Okay, so I do want to make that literally very, very clear on that. You have the stable man that has very strict boundaries on what he will do and what he will not do. He has a backbone within himself on what he will tolerate and what he will not tolerate. You know what I'm saying? That is the stable man, which people mainly respect. Okay? This is the man that a lot of women would yearn for. Will hope that that man that they pick, that they are attracted to, is super stable. Now, what happens if he's not perfectly stable? All right? Let's go to the second tier. All right? The second tier is the performing man, the transitioning man. Okay? Just like with the transitioning women, he has made some toxic mistakes up in his life. He picked the toxic woman that was narcissistic, or he did some women dirty during his relationships, and he felt remorseful on what he done, whether he cheated in the past, or whether he did his kids wrong, or whether he did a serious crime, and he's doing his best and he's working his ass off to reform. You know what I'm saying? To actually do right by the people. You feel me? To do right by his newfound love and restart his life. Okay? One thing I forgot to mention about the stable man, he does go to therapy also. And the transitioning man is making it up to actually often go to therapy as well, if need be. Find a therapist that's gonna suit him. You know what I'm saying? That's as neutral as possible. You feel me? You know what I'm saying? He starts to build boundaries within himself. He starts to learn more about what he can do capably, socially as a man. You know what I mean? It's not just all about big cock and big cum. You know what I'm saying? It's all about developing character habits. A lot of discipline, you feel me? You know what I mean? Basically, we're dealing with standards, understanding how to value his time more, how to balance his time more. You know what I'm saying? How to keep focused on the people that truly care about him, that truly appreciate him in life. You feel me? All right? Wakes up from the immaturity and the reactivity of other people, and even other exes or the women that choose not to reform or choose to stay in their immature ways and don't humble themselves. You know what I'm saying? And that can impact their relationship, and he will not hesitate to mainly cut these types of women off. You know what I'm saying? He does his best to make sure he don't get himself caught up in deep shit. He makes sure to call out nonsense. He makes sure to call out corruption like the stable man. Okay? The reformed man is doing everything in his power to make sure he does right by society standards. Okay? Not be of the world, even though he's being in it, but basically make a difference in the world. Make a positive difference up in the world, just like the stable man does. You know what I'm saying? That is the reformative, transitioning man. Now we got the worst level of man known to mankind, and a lot of that you mainly see up in the YouTube streets. Ladies and gentlemen, the final tier of man is the toxic and chaotic man. You know what I'm saying? I got so many traits that I want to deal with this man. You know, and we all been through that stage before. Even myself. Okay? But there are many, many layers to it. Okay? And I want to try and get them in subsections. Alright? Depending on how I want to try and go with the veracity of what I'm saying with these guys. We got the low level toxic and chaotic man. Those types are very naive. Those types are very socially awkward. Those types usually don't have a backbone for themselves, usually mainly kiss ass and actually go kowtow to their significant other than anyone else, and not even have the strength to mainly say no when it comes to certain situations. Okay? That's basically on like the lowest level. Okay? They waste their time mainly chasing women a lot of times. So much so, they literally lose themselves in the process, thinking that that's going to get them back. But in more reality, the woman mainly pulls and pulls and pulls away. I can understand why a lot of women are very repelled by this type of man, because they're looking at somebody that's basically a rock and basically is like stern and stubborn in his ways at times when it comes to decision making that can literally suit best for this entire couple. Now, it may work for a few couples with certain women and certain men, and they work just fine. But a lot of them, it may not be the case. You feel me? You know what I'm saying? They go through a lot of hell. They go through a lot of heartbreak. They try to seek answers. You know what I mean? And some of them mainly go to the formative and transition stage. They become the transitioning man. But there are others, unfortunately, that develop a lot of vitriol. There are others that are actually very narcissistic. So much so they're nominated for a Man of the Year, like Lord. You know what I'm saying? They can become very narcissistic. They can become very misogynistic. They can have a lot of isms mainly up in their belt. You know what I mean? They can even become abusive. Physically abusive, emotionally abusive, psychologically abusive to their partner, to their significant other. May not show that out in the public because he's very, very strategic, he's very, very subtle, and he's very, very covert. He's very deceptive, okay? In regards to what he does towards partners and towards anyone else around him, okay? Basically knowing how to be manipulative. You know what I'm saying? Go on this pseudo alpha guru rhetoric, saying that, oh, this modern women, oh, this modern women garbage. Mind you, the 3 tiers is irrespective on whether or not a man is modern or traditional. And in the previous videos before with Sha'carri, it doesn't discuss about whether or not the woman is modern or traditional. You feel me? So, let me get myself in order because I got something in my eye. You know what I'm saying? You know, he becomes very manipulative. He becomes very deceptive, you know, towards definitely women around him. He gives them all these sweet things on what the woman wants to hear. And then months to years down the line, you know, he gets them wrapped up in deception. You know what I'm saying? For example, Andrew Tate is one of them. And now he got caught himself in some serious criminal charges. Okay. Marvin Gaines is another one. You know what I mean? Very deceptive, extremely misogynistic, extremely manipulative, and definitely not even following shit on what he preached. They're mainly frauds, right? Freshman CEO, same thing. You know what I mean? Talking about he got game, but he mainly sitting behind the scenes. We got other dudes like Jay Waller, as another example. Dembo, who more than likely is going through an appeal. I don't know if his appeal, he won the appeal, lost the appeal, or the sentence stands. But at any given moment, he'll be serving time up in Canadian jail due to the fact of a rape conviction that happened with a then college student some years ago, around 2021, which they found him guilty of. while he has his camera out, mainly actually trying to have sex, sexual healing. That woman feels very reluctant at that point. And he kept going and going, and he kept being resistive to the point where he literally came on her back. And the woman had to deal with a rape case up at the hospital. A woman that Andrew Tate recently abused up in LA, literally filed a civil suit against him. And she went to the hospital up in New York City trying to get herself checked out, and actually confirms the beatings and actually confirms the bruises based on an after-visit summary. You know what I'm saying? So you got these types of toxic men out here. You got these types of dudes want to try and do with all the MGTOW. I don't need a woman. I don't want to try and get married. You know what I'm saying? I still want to keep it pimping with a permanent bachelor lifestyle. You know what I'm saying? Piping women out over and over again. Sometimes deceiving them. You know what I'm saying? Always being very stereotypical towards women as well. You know what I'm saying? You got those groups of men as well that are actually very deceptive, toxic, and chaotic. You know what I'm saying? They can be extremely dangerous also. Okay? And I got other examples I want to try and think of that I want to bring out also. Jeffrey Epstein. Especially when, where the man or woman is a child predator, they belong to the toxic and chaotic tier. Okay? Those are in it as well. You got men that are corrupt in regards of any tax bracket. They belong to the toxic and chaotic man. And you see a lot of them out there. You know what I'm saying? And man, I got so much stuff I actually want to try and dig up with so many examples, man. Y'all got no fucking idea. What else do I want to try and bring up as well? Man, oh man, oh man, oh man, oh man. Looks like they doing it. I got it. I'll walk now. Thank you. What time you guys close? 10? What time you guys close? 10? Okay, do you want me to come in or do you want me to walk? All right, thank you. All right, sorry guys. So, we dealing with that type of situation here, okay, when it comes to these toxic and chaotic dudes. I'm sorry I got a little bit interrupted by bridge security, but you guys know what I'm saying, right? We got some very, 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 very sick people up in this society, up in this planet. You know what I'm saying? And whichever woman they mainly choose these tiers. Let me go get in go close out real quick. One of the things that I also forgot to actually bring up are, the dusty scrubs, right? The dusty scrubs are men that won't do anything, does not have any business to actually try and improve his life, to actually go get anything, to actually try and take some fun, try and get a job, to actually stack some bread up, build some of his life, keep himself busy, you know what I'm saying, saving heads, not just for himself, but also his own family, especially in a relationship where the girl mainly here, the woman is actually doing all the heavy lifting and not actually being the helpmeet that she's supposed to do. And she ends up getting gassed fully in the process, causing her more and more extreme frustration. These dusty, scrubs out here sitting at home chilling, not even doing much all day. You know what I mean? A lot of times lonely and depressed, not even making the effort to seek therapy to actually get themselves out of depression, actually try and improve their lives. You know what I'm saying? Those are also more of the toxic chaotic man, the up in that video also. Now let's get back to recording. For the woman and the gay man that chooses the type of man, this is where you need to have your social skills improved and you need to actually practice your subtle cues. I know a lot of women are actually more better at this and they're actually more subtle with these things than men. I understand that. But if y'all choose, and if you notice, the dude that came by appears well off successful, appears like he got lots of dollars, he fully ripped up, he fully juiced up, he got big cocks, got big cock, 9-10 inches, you know what I mean? He don't miss. He be making boatloads of cum, okay? You have endless sex every now and then. And I'm saying this as a hypothetical example. I'm not saying this I'm just creating a hypothetical situation. But outside that, constant arguing, a lot of manipulation, a lot of deception. Sometimes it gets physical at times. This is an extreme case now, okay? You deal with that man that treats you like garbage, treats you like shit, okay? And some of you women, not all, some of you women will still choose to stay with that man. Why? Higher status, you know, chiseled abs, bigger money than you. He makes more money than you will make, where you being a housewife and where you working. You feel what I'm saying? But yeah, you still stay with him because you feel too shallow. You think that's the only way you're gonna get in life. It basically reflects your shallow mindset on your part. You deal with people that you want to easily control. You deal with dudes, right? And even the toxic, chaotic ones. I forgot to even mention this. The dusties that do nothing. That's another example of toxic, chaotic people too. That's one thing I forgot to bring up. Are dusty hood ninjas. Or lazy people that can't even do nothing in life. They have no ambition. No fucking ambition in life. Out here chilling up on the corner, and when they're home, they're playing video games all day, doing bullshit streaming, barely having low followers. And I know they're trying to build up just like me. I can't really go ham too much because I'm in that back of actually trying to build, but at least I'm doing something primarily with a job. That's why I rarely post. I don't really post as often as I should. But hey, I'm working, right? But you got those doing their live streams for like 2-3 hours doing bullshit. You know what I'm saying? Playing video games, doing nothing. You feel what I'm saying? And the video games are expensive. The consoles are expensive, $500, $600 a pop. Chilling up in their girl's house, actually playing video games, not even doing nothing, actually helping out in regards to their relationship, or even helping out when they co-parenting. Just like with my old friend of mine. She recently had to kick him out due to the fact that he's not thoroughly active in their child's life, okay? Because he out here being lazy, he out here bullshit. You feel what I'm saying? So, those are the dusties and the lames and the low lifes that are part of that toxic chaotic bracket. But some of y'all choose to stay with them. I don't know why. Some of y'all may want to control them because you fear that if you go with a stable man and he calls you on your shit, you're not going to be feeling real comfortable. And that's what some of you women and some of you gay men, that's a piss poor reflection of who you are as a person, okay? Now, to those women that are waking up, okay, that are transitioning and that are stable women and are making the right choice on who they pick as they mate to make sure they actually do well and are emotionally regulated, I salute y'all, okay? Whether you like you the trad wife or whether you are a Korean woman, I salute y'all, okay? Because you know you're gonna go real far in life with that man behind you. When due to the fact you're gonna be doing big things together, okay? Keyword, together, all right? But this is like a good forewarning, and this is like a good background for the 3 types of men that you gotta deal with in society. You feel me? And we got a lot of people in general that are either in the toxic or chaotic range behind closed doors, okay? And you got a lot of others that are actually transitioning to be stable. And you got some that are actually stable, not 100% stable, but you got those that are as emotionally regulated as possible, which I know that I see and I witness in my personal life growing up, that those are the 3 types of people, the 3 tiers of people that you will be dealing with, all right? And I'm gonna cut it off right here because now bridge security up in the front, I'm trying to kick everybody out. So let me go finish my exercise and walk, and I'm gonna shine my ass off, go hit the bath so I can pass out late tonight for work tomorrow morning, all right? Chris Ball for Nerd Chronicles. Inside out. Deuces.
Yeah.